back to my channel. So as you can see, I am taking inspiration from this photo of Chrisspy for today's tutorial. It is a half skull, half glam look. I'm starting off with some white face paint and I'm using this to outline my eye socket. So the way that it's going to look is kind of like we've got a face mask on the lower half of our face. I'm then just going to go in and fill all of that in with white. As you can see, the white is quite sheer, so you'll see in a second that I am going to go over the top of that and build up that colour until I'm happy with how it looks. Next, going in with a smaller brush, and I'm just creating these indents in my nose. And then going in with some black face paint on my Real Techniques eyeliner brush, I am going to create the outline of my nose first and then colour it in. So next I'm just taking some of that black to define my eye socket as well. I'm just creating a really thin line on the edge of where that white is, and then I'm tapering out the line at the ends as well just to keep it really neat. I'm also taking some of that black and putting it on the inside of my mouth. This is going to create a hollow effect. So when you look from front on, it's going to look as if there is nothing there. Now creating some smile lines. This is actually where the teeth are going to sit. I'm then going to draw in my cheekbone and then also connecting my jawline to that as well. So I'm kind of just following where I think my natural cheekbone and jawline would sit. And then obviously shading in between those just to add a little bit of a 3D effect, and then obviously shading in the hollow between my cheekbones and jawline as well. And now starting with the teeth, I'm just going to put a line straight down the center of my mouth, right over the top and then down to the bottom. And then as you can see here, I am just pretty much outlining exactly where all of my teeth would normally sit. Now the next part is kind of hard to explain, but what I'm doing here is I am defining the shape of my teeth. So I'm starting off by putting some V's on the tops of those lines, and that's going to taper the tops just to create that tooth-like effect. Then going in with my eyeliner brush, this is where I'm going to define that shape even more. This step here is kind of where you see the teeth start to really come together and look teeth-like, I guess. So next up I'm going to take this matte black eyeshadow and use this to do some shading. So first of all I'm going to shade from my jawline and connect that to the first couple of teeth in the row there. And I'm also going to use that to connect the rest of the teeth. You'll see what I mean, but it's just going to make them look a little bit more seamless and pulled together. I'm also using that brush to create a few imperfections in my teeth, so I'm bringing them down onto the tooth really, really lightly just to create those imperfections. Obviously, where a skull, the teeth aren't going to be perfect, they're going to be rotten and all of that jazz, so that's what this shading is doing. So I'm just going to shut up now and let you guys watch how this all kind of comes together. So next up I'm going to add in some 3D shadows. I'm doing this by creating a line just above where my cheekbone is. I'm going to shade this out so that it's not so harsh, and this is what's going to give it that 3D effect. So I'm not adding any more product onto my brush here. I'm literally just kind of blending up the product that's already there. I'm obviously going to repeat this step on the other side of my face as well. And then doing exactly the same thing below my jawline, I'm creating a shadow underneath there, leaving that white space in between again, and just blending that product out, not adding any extra product onto my brush because I want it to look really soft. And I thought that my teeth just looked a little bit too clean, so I'm just roughing up the edges by shading them out a little bit more as well. So doing the same underneath the eye socket, just adding a shadow underneath there. I'm going to blend that out exactly like I did with the cheekbone line as well. So I'm just tapering the edges of those lines as well, just to keep them really neat and seamless. Obviously a shadow isn't so bulky on the end normally, so that's why I'm just tapering them slightly. And then I'm going over with some white face paint. I had some fallout from the black eyeshadow, and I'm just also kind of elongating where my neckline is as well, because the next step is that we're going to put some cracks in. So now I'm just putting in some cracks in my chin. I'm doing this by putting some face paint, just snaking those lines up my chin. You can do this however you want, as many as you want, as little as you want. And then taking some black eyeshadow on a blending brush, and I'm just shading that underneath my chin. Sorry if you guys can hear the rain in the background, there's a massive storm going on, kind of fitting for this Halloween tutorial. So then I'm just taking some of that black eyeshadow and shading in between those cracks again to add that 3D effect. So I'm keeping a bit of a white space in between the shading and the cracks so that it's a bit more of a shadow. So I'm doing that in between each of the cracks and then also doing it on the outer edges of the cracks. And you'll see in a second that I kind of blend it into the shading that I put below my chin before as well. Then just using that blending brush to blend it all in together so that it's nice and seamless. And then just adding a few final touches. I'm just making that line for the eye socket a little bit longer. I think I added a little bit of black to my nose as well. Yep, and then, yeah, this bit's a bit jumpy, sorry, but it's just kind of adding the final touches. And then that is the completed half skull, half glam Halloween makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed it.